Good Erev Shabbos to our friends and members of the Westmount Shul. We're getting closer and closer to Rosh Hashanah. This week's Parsha is Ki SAVO. The current events of this week are so saddening. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I've had enough of talking about current events. Had enough of talking about all the negative things that are going on. And you'd say, but Rabbi, it's Parsha Ki SAVO. Parsha Ki SAVO is the very lengthy words of tochacha, rebuke, where all the terrible things are going to happen to the Jewish people who don't listen to Hashem. So guess what? I'm taking the prerogative and I am deciding that I'm going to talk about happy things today. Only happy things today. And everybody seems to look at Parshas Ki SAVO, all the curses, and there's a lot of psukim of curses, like close to almost 60 psukim of curses. But there are psukim of blessing. And to that extent, I want to focus on the blessings. And therefore, I want you to look at the psukim over here, and then we'll take that off the screen. And let's try to understand what I would say is what we should be thinking about this Rosh Hashanah. We want to have bracha in our lives. What can we do to have more bracha in our lives? I think that's a much happier topic today. And the Torah spells it right out. And if you will surely listen to the voice of Hashem your God, if you guard and do all the mitzvahs which I command you today, and Hashem will set you high above all the nations of the world. And all these blessings will come to you. And they will reach you. If you listen to the voice of Hashem your God. And then the pasuk goes on to give all the blessings. Baruch atah ba'ir, Baruch privitnecha, Baruch tanacha, all the blessings. Baruch atah b'vaecha. Look at all the psukim. The nations will be afraid of you. You'll have an abundance. You'll be the head and not the tail. Blah, blah, blah. 10, 11 psukim of blessings. Amazing. So there it is. The secret to blessings is listening to Hashem. That's it. Shema tishma v'koil Hashem Elokecha. Listen to the voice of Hashem. It doesn't say Shema tishma'u, Shema tishma. Lishmor lasos is called mitzvah. It doesn't say if you listen to do what Hashem says, or Shema tishma el Hashem Elokecha, listen to Hashem, but bekol Hashem Elokecha. Bekol, to the voice. Why do you need a voice? Just say Shema tishmu. And there's a subtle concept that needs a lot of time, but I'm only going to say briefly. A lot of times someone can tell you something, but depending on what voice they use, it could totally change the whole meaning of what's going on. If a husband says to a wife, comes home, oh, wife, dear, how are you doing? And she goes, fine. Then it's not fine. If she says, fine. Husband says, oh, fine, Baruch Hashem, let's move on. Oh, no. Listen, she didn't say, fine, great, amazing. She said, fine. You should listen to the call and notice something much deeper here. In Judaism, yes, we've got the mitzvahs, but there's the koil. When Hashem gave us the Torah, it was the koil shofar. The idea of the koil, you have to be sensitive to the subtleties of the nuances of Torah. It's not just a question of fulfilling the letter of the law of Torah. You have to follow the spirit of the law of Torah, which is a whole discussion. But that's the key to happiness. But that's the success and blessing. But that's not what I'm going to focus on so much today. I'm going to focus on another part. If you looked carefully at these two psukim, really, we could have ended Pasuk Beis. If you listen to Hashem, I'm going to make you above all the nations. Period. And all the blessings will come to you. Stop. And then we could skip the next few words and go to Baruch Atah Ba'ir, Baruch Atah B'Seder, and go on with everything. Why do we have to have the word V'hisigucha, and they reach you? It already says, and all the blessings come to you. What's this? And they reach you. And then it says again, ki, because you listen to the voice of Hashem. Well, it started off by saying, and if you will listen to the voice of Hashem, Hashem will give you all the blessings because you listen to the voice of Hashem. It doesn't make any sense. Why repeat that? So therefore, there's two pshatim I'd like to share with you. There's many pshatim. And now I can remove the share. We could stop the share for a little moment. Okay. And move that down. And discuss an idea from Rav Tzadok HaKohen. Rav Tzadok HaKohen says, in the name of the Rebbe Rabbunim of Psishcha, he says, the blessings will come to you, vehisigucha, means that the blessings should reach you where you are. That means that these blessings should not change you. The brachas that you receive will reach you where you are, and you will not become a different person because of them. All too often, we see that when someone comes into a lot of success and a lot of money, it changes him. He becomes a different person. Fame and fortune can do that. But the promise is, according to Rav Tzadok, that the blessing should reach you and cause you to remain exactly where you were before they arrived. I would like to take that and just make one small nuance change. And what the Torah is saying is like this, that if you listen to me, I will bless you. But now, and you'll get all the blessings. But then there's another critical point. Do they reach you or not? Do they reach you? And now we say like this, V'hisigucha. And if they really reach you, and you don't change as a person, and you know you don't change as a person, Ki tishma b'kol Hashem Elokecha, because you continue to listen to the voice of Hashem, your God. In other words, we first start by listening to the voice of Hashem, and we listen to Hashem, we get all the brachos, and if they really will reach you, and you don't change, you know why you do not change? Because you continue. You're a different person now. You may have been a very, let's say, poor person. And now you do a lot of mitzvahs, and Hashem blesses you, and now gives you bounty. The blessings come to you, but do they reach you? Whoa, what if they change you into another person? Well, then you will not have the blessings. It's got to be Ki tishma b'kol Hashem, when it reaches you, or we can even say further, and then you will continue, because ki can have many meanings. It can mean because, or it can mean and then, or when it reaches you, and when you listen to the voice, I mean, even then we have all the blessings that come. Because the initial blessings may not be blessings for you at all. It could change you into a person that you're not supposed to be. They tell a story, I don't know if it's an urban tale or it actually happened, but the idea is clear. There was a very poor man in the city. He was a down and out. And there was in Poland, you know, they had the lottery. So they sell tickets at the local stores. So the person of the local store, he tries to persuade, he's nudging this poor guy to buy a lottery ticket. Finally agrees to buy a lottery ticket. So, and it's usually months ahead before is the lottery, right? Anyway, so then comes that final night where the lottery comes in. And they would send the results not to people. It wasn't on your iPhone. It would go to the stores who sold the lottery tickets. So the storekeeper looks at the results of that month's lottery. And the lottery shows that the guy he sold the ticket to, he won. This is great news. This is unbelievable news. So what happens? But it's 11 o'clock at night. He says, this is good news, man. You know, why should he sleep knowing that he's thinking he's poor when I can tell him that he's rich? So he knocks on the door and the poor guy, gets the cobwebs out of his face and opens the door. He says, I got great news. Really? You won! You won the lottery! Guy digests that for a minute. He looks at him very upset. You'd expect him to say, oh, thank you for selling me the ticket. Thank you for selling me the ticket. He says, nobody in the world knows that I'm a rich man, but you. And you know I'm a rich man. How dare you wake me up in the middle of the night? You don't wake up a rich man in the middle of the night. The bracha came to him, but not the hisigucha. It didn't reach him. It now made him into another person. We're coming to Rosh Hashanah, and we're davening to Hashem. And we want to have all the blessings, and the blessings are when we surely listen to the voice of Hashem. But the question is, let's look at last year, this past year. In spite of the corona, Hashem has blessed us all, that we've always had lots of food on the table. Yes, there's been some disturbances, but by and large, we've been blessed. And the question is, what did the blessings, hisigucha, did they reach us who we are, or did the blessings change us? And let's look over our lives, over all the years we have lived, and Hashem has continuously blessed us. Has it changed us? And if we need things to improve next year, will it change us? You got to be an extremely humble person to not allow these things to change you. They tell a story about one of the great Sephardic rabbis, Rav Ezra Aktiyah, Zichrono Livracha. And he's once sitting at a gathering of a lot of Gedolei Hador, elderly Rosh Yeshivas. And in the middle of the discussion entered a young Rosh Yeshiva, Talmud Chacham, but much younger than the venerable Rosh Yeshivas. And he walks in, he sees there's no place. There's no seats, so he's standing in the back by the wall. And Rav Atia sees this elderly sage, he can't take this. And he says, how could it be that I'm sitting and the Talmud Chacham is standing? He said, what am I going to do? If I give up and let him take my seat, he won't agree to do it. So he walks over to this young Talmud Chacham and he whispers in his ears. He said, listen, honestly, I don't feel very well. Can you do me a favor and take my seat so I can get up and leave? And the young Talmud Chacham said, sure, I'll be happy to do you that favor. Rav Acha, no matter how great he was, he never changed. Never changed. And that's the idea. Will we let the blessings change us or not? And this shot really resonates well because it has another advantage. Because later on, when the Torah mentions the curses, and when it says the curses, and the curses, it says the same expression. It says that all the curses are going to come. All the curses are going to come. Uva elecha kol haklolos v'hisigucha, and they will reach you. What is that supposed to mean over there? The answer is that what if things bad happen? Often when bad things happen, they change us too. Our lives were good. Now bad things are happening. Challenges. All of a sudden, you become a different person. You were a person who devotedly davened in shul, and now things have changed. You're very busy. There's difficulties. There's challenges. Things aren't the way you want them. There could be sickness, God forbid, in the family. Poverty all of a sudden. Will it change you? You're going to be a different person. And we say, how come you don't come to shul anymore? Oh, I got all these problems. Why did that change you? So we have to realize, regardless of how Rosh Hashanah and what Hashem will determine, whatever the blessings or lo aleinu the curses, they should always hisigucho. They should reach you, the person that you are, the person that you're supposed to be. And don't let these things change you just because of the event. Yes, you can always change and be a better person, maybe be a catalyst to be a better person. But don't let things, usually external things, change us for the worse. Blessings usually change us for the worse if we're not careful. Curses change us for the worse. And I would suggest as we come to Rosh Hashanah and we're looking for good in our life, it's not to lose who we are supposed to be, what Hashem wanted us to be. We have to look back in our lives, and many of us have had blessings in our lives, and we have to ask ourselves, has that changed us for the worse? Many of us, unfortunately, had problems. Has that changed us for the worse? What will happen this year? Will it change us for the worse? It seems it's very hard when things change for us to be as good as we are or to continue to grow. It's a big challenge. It's a big challenge, and everybody knows the misery of their own souls. El is the time we're coming to the home stretch. As we make the cheshbon hanefesh, we got to say, one thing's for sure, we live in a blessed world. We are so blessed in so many ways. Has it not changed? Has it changed us or not? We're so blessed. Technology has given us so much. But have we changed? When you always used to be able to look at a person in the eye when you spoke to them, and now we're blessed with the technology, and there's certain blessings to technology. I'm not denying, I'm using it right now. But have we changed that now I don't know how to talk to people? Our children only know how to text. They don't know how to express their feelings. They don't listen to the call of other people. There's a lack of sensitivity. There's a sensitivity we should have when we come into a shul, pre-cell phone era. Maybe we had more awareness of the shul as a sanctuary, and now we got cell phones, so we feel we have to bring it in. Are we not listening to the call of Hashem? In so many ways, that call gets lost because the blessings aren't reaching us. It's turning us into different people. And therefore, because we're different people, we think we're so smart. And we're not those precious, devoted, childlike believers in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Hashem can take care of everything. So you might say, I don't know how practical this is. How much is it nogea me? I mean, after all, I'm not going to win the lottery. Don't minimize the blessings we have, but let me give you one final example. And this example has to do with marriage, but it could be with friendships. And there's a story that a rabbi mentioned that somebody once told him this in confidence. The person says to him, he says, I was having some challenges in my marriage. What did he mean? he says, I have so much responsibility. I have to support my family, and I have to support them well. And Baruch Hashem, we have a large family. I have to marry off the kids. I got to support them. Mamish, I have to take on many jobs, right? And all different other things are going on. And then at the end of the day, I come home, and my wife is waiting for me, and she's been a very busy person. She's been taking care of the home and all these things. And she's looking forward to speaking to me at the end of the day. But when I come home, I'm so tired, I'm so knocked out. I really don't give her much attention. And there's always other things going on. But then on the other hand, I was saying, but she should appreciate what I'm doing, because I'm working so hard so the family has what it has. I'm working like a slave for her. So therefore, she should understand that and cut me slack. But then I had another thought. He says, what if God forbid, she died? God forbid. So what would happen after the Levaya, after the Shiva, after the Shloshim, after a number of months? Then someone will come over to me and offer me a shidduch. So what would I do? Well, you get lonely, right? So I'd go and I'd have to prepare. I'd have to dress fancy and nice, take her out to dinner or whatever, meet with her, talk with her, this, court her, date her, and all these things. So make a good impression. Why? So that she'll want to marry me. Wait a minute. My wife isn't dead. So how come for the imagined lady I have to court, I have time, but not for my wife? Isn't she deserving of the time? And what's the answer? Because when I didn't have it, when I was single, when I was engaged, I had all the time in the world for my wife. And now that I've won the lottery, now that I have such an amazing wife, and for all these years she does all this, have I changed? I'm not the same husband. And I say, she could wait. Gewalt. That's not hisikucha. That's not hisikucha. And that's what he's saying. And that's all of us have to be careful about being guilty for that. Our wives, our husbands, our good friends, who had all the time in the world, but has not life caused us to change? Have the blessings not caused us to change? And remember how it was under the chuppah. And that's what Hashem is telling us. Remember how lovely it was when we were first a people. We got married at Sinai, but what's happened? Hashem has blessed us in all the changes that happen. And we have to be awfully careful, because there's one other pshat over here that Rav Zevin says. They asked the Kosker Rebbe, how do you understand all the blessings will come v'hisigucha? And the Kosker was very cryptic. Said, we know on the Rambam in Mishnah Torah, there is the commentary of the Ra'avad. And he puts all the places where he argues on it. And those difficulties are called the Hagohos HaRavid. The criticisms of the Ravid, Hagos. And therefore, the pasuk says, and it's or rather not Hagos, I'm sorry, Hasogas HaRavid, Hasogas. Hasogas means criticisms, questions, and difficulties. So he says like this, Rav Zevin, what he meant to say, what Rav Tzadok meant to say is, all the blessings will come, but sometimes when the blessings come, as if you change or not, if you change Visigucha, it will bring questions and difficulties upon you. We know that when someone's suffering from poverty and illness, he has an excuse. When Moshe told the Jews that they're going to go out, they couldn't hear him because they were short of breath. But when Hashem gives blessings, then it's a question and difficulty on our behavior. If you don't daven with a minyan and you're not kovei eating for Torah, what's your excuse? How can it be when things go well, you miss your service to Hashem and you don't do it properly? How can it be that because of the joy of a wedding, you can't come up to davening the next day? It's a question on you. How can you take Hashem's blessings and turn it around to distance you from Hashem? So now you got the double entendre of what the Hisigucha means. Is it going to be the Hisigucha? It reaches you as you are and you don't change when these things happen. Or if God forbid, the Hisigucha, it will be a criticism on you because you had all this good and you didn't recognize Hashem and continue to serve Hashem as you should. So I think there's a beautiful idea. We all want to have a beautiful year. Just remember who we really are. We come from a pure, holy soul from Shemayim that only wants to be close to Hashem. The question is, have we changed? Hopefully, we could change for the better. For the better is fine. But we change to indifference to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That the kol, the voice of Hashem, is not as important. Let's reflect on all the beautiful things Hashem did for us. And let's ask ourselves, am I better for this? Have the blessings, and my blessing to all of us is that all the blessings should come. V'hisiguchem, and they should not change us. We should be the beautiful people that we've always have been, and don't allow the circumstances, positive or negative, to change us. And then all the blessings will come. And that's how we wish each and every one of us, Mamis, Ashana, Tova, that all the brachas should continue to reach us the way we are and have a beautiful year coming up. Amen. Thank you all for listening.